We've done the best ride scenes, we've done the best extinct rides. So logically, we have to do the top 10 extinct Disney ride scenes. As attractions come and go, they tend to fade quietly from our minds, but my job is to make sure that that never happens. So let's take a trip down memory lane and jump right into the number 10 entry on our list. The original Backlot Tour was a 30-minute odyssey ranging from walkthrough tours to tram rides, but the only thing I can remember was this street right here. Dubbed Anywhere USA, this is where several sitcoms were filmed when they needed to shoot an exterior of a house. And we welcome the Backlot Tour to this list for one reason and one reason only: my love for the Golden Girls. Seeing one of my favorite show icons while in Disney World blew my mind as a kid. MGM Studios was never my favorite park, but I think about that house of sod at least twice a month. Now if you excuse me, I think my Dorothy body pillow just got delivered. So how do you pick a favorite scene from an attraction that's literally just a highlight reel of legendary movie scenes? I think the answer is seeing a cast member getting turned into a skeleton right before your very eyes. Seeing this for the first time made this 9-year-old chicken have nightmares for weeks. The fact that we got a scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark was just icing on the Indiana Jones themed cake. Delta Dreamflight is an old ride that pops up on this channel a lot, and even before I became a fan of the Haunted Mansion or even Spaceship Earth, Dreamflight was my favorite ride as a kid. And a big reason why is this scene where you fly over Japan and France. Flying over these cities gives this a more modern and realistic Peter Pan-like scene where you soar over London. And it's always the scene that comes to mind when reminiscing of this ride, and it's the only flight you don't need a real ID to get on. Of all the scenes in this classic attraction, people might be surprised I went with the caverns just before the big drop. The almost party-like atmosphere with all the wildlife playing in their watering hole is a great contrast to the 50-foot drop that would come next. As someone who gets nervous from the tiny drop in Pirates, this scene always gave me a short-lived calm before the storm before my stomach would be firmly planted in my throat. For a ride as slow, plodding, and uneventful as Universe of Energy that even a collaboration with the B-tier now cancelled sitcom star couldn't save, the 4 minutes of seeing dinosaurs in this attraction made up for the 41 minutes of absolutely nothing this ride had to offer. The air in this part of the ride was always humid and smelled like sulfur. It was a great way to get immersed in this scene, but admittedly it was kinda gross. But this was by far the best dinosaur ride Disney has ever made. For those of us lucky enough to ride this pseudo-submarine while not being discouraged by its long wait times and constant breakdowns, we retreated to the apex of Disney Imagineering. Seeing a submarine getting up close and personal with the monster when I was a kid had me worried that the family in front of me was one of the victims of the beasts. It may be more cost effective to have 5-minute rides filled with screens, but I for one missed the 15-minute attractions with handcrafted set pieces. Speaking purely for my Orlando fans, perhaps no ending or scene itself is more shocking than the finale to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Being sent straight to heck wasn't something you saw in your run-of-the-mill Disney attraction. I could have gotten cute and put something else from this ride on the spot, but let's be real, this is the one scene everybody remembers. For those of you who know my top 3 extinct attractions, what rides are left should be pretty obvious. But what isn't obvious, however, is what scene to use for the original Journey into Imagination. Ultimately, I went with everyone's favorite Disney duo, Dreamfinder and Figment, celebrating the arts. Seeing Dreamfinder with his giant glowing paintbrush is the first thing that comes to mind whenever I look back on this ride. But there is no wrong answer for this entry, seeing that this attraction, much like Dreamfinder's painting, is a masterpiece. World of Motion's Sea Serpent is one of the most overlooked scenes in all of Disney history. Even Disney hasn't forgot about this one because they did a callback to this exact same scene in Paris's version of It's a Small World. I've told the story before, but a friend of mine went to Epcot when they were 5, and this scene was the only part they remember from their trip. To me, there's no higher compliment to give an attraction than having it be your first Disney memory. Another extinct ride video ends with Horizons being on top. And of course, we have to end with what scene this attraction is known for, the orange groves on Mesa Verde. The smell of the oranges is iconic, but you could look over this animatronic landscape 50 times and notice something different with each watch. This scene to me symbolizes Disney World as a whole, and thanks to Horizons, I can't eat a fruit salad without it triggering some kind of nostalgia. But that'll do it for this list of my top 10 defunct scenes in Disney World. For those of you old like me, I hope this jogs some memories, but for the younger crowd, hopefully you'll go back and watch some of these ride-throughs, and hopefully you'll join me on another upload. So until next time, drop a like if you enjoyed this, subscribe if I earned it, and thank you for watching.